Dillon Martin. Here's my ID. You can see it. And so basically I'm going to do my presentation on how to saddle a horse. I have my audience with me. This is Josh Swinger. This is Emily Auer, Albert Auer, Mackie, and Laura. My mom, another mother. Anyways, so you guys want to kind of stand back here? Alright, so first thing I want to talk about is just, this isn't really for baby horses. I would say this is more for horses that have been saddled before. If you're going to saddle a horse that's young, maybe take your time or be a little bit quieter about your movements. It's important that you don't want to startle the horse or anything like that. Simon's kind of young, but he's been ridden quite a bit, and he's a good horse. So, but first things first is you always want to clean them off and make sure that they are clean before you put on any equipment to use for riding. So we have a brush and a comb. You don't always have to brush their hair or brush their mane or tail, but you do always want to brush their back and get all the stuff off. And like my horse, he's been rolling in the dirt all day, so nothing new there. When you brush the horse, you want to make sure you kind of go with the flow of the coat. So whichever way the hair runs, you want to go with it. Since it's sort of springtime up here, my horse is shedding incredibly, so there will be a lot of hair. But whenever you're moving around the horse, just kind of be calm. Don't do anything to excite the horse or anything like that, because they are a much larger animal and they can hurt you. And then when brushing the tail or the mane, you kind of want to take your time, separate out pieces and brush it out, which I won't do the whole thing, but because a lot of horses' tails get knotted and stuff like that, so you want to take your time. That way you're not ripping out all the hair or anything like that. And then same goes for the mane, because you also want them to have a nice mane and stuff like that. So just kind of take your time when brushing it and be nice, And like I said, since it's springtime, my horse is shedding a lot. So if your horse is shedding a lot, you may want to brush them 2-3 different times, because the hair, if it's moving a lot, it can allow your saddle pad to slip or anything like that. So just make sure you get all the dirt off. Alright, so now that you've cleaned the horse, next thing you want to do is grab your equipment. Now, with saddles, there's always pads that you put underneath, and so there's different kinds of saddle pads for different kinds of saddles. Today we're going to just be putting an English saddle on because it's light and easy. But there are many kinds of saddles. There's Western saddles, English saddles, Australian saddles, all kinds for different kinds of riding depending on what you would like to do. But this is a traditional English pad that I have had for quite a few years, and I use this on him quite often. So, first thing you want to do, even with any horse, even no matter the age or anything like that, kind of take your time putting the pad on and stuff like that, and just kind of swing it over his back, rub it around, and make sure he knows that it's there. Most horses are pretty good about it. It's not a big deal. Young ones will be a little bit more antsy about it. So you position it up on the withers, right about here, kind of where it's going down, meeting the leg, the line of the leg, and then you leave it like that. And then some horses, they have a really pointy wither, and what that means is it's really bony up here and stuff like that, so they need extra padding. So they make other pads that can be put up here to protect against the rubbing of their withers and stuff like that. So, but anyways, after you've got this pad on and it's, you know, adjusted just right up on his withers and stuff like that, you're able to throw the saddle on. Well, not throw, but you can lift it up and just kind of be nice about it. Just lay it on and see he knows that it's there. It's been a while since he's been saddled, so, but just kind of lay it on. Make sure it kind of sitting up in the right position. The points, there's lower points on the saddle that will sit kind of there on the withers, and it will hold just fine. And then you will need a girth, which straps on the bottom of the saddle, and it holds your saddle on. That way, when you're riding, your saddle's not all over the place, moving and sliding back and stuff like that. So with an English saddle, you always want to start with the non-elastic side for the girth, and then you move to the elastic side, because when you come over for the elastic side, you're able to tighten it as much as you want, and that way it doesn't slide or move anywhere. So I'm going to put this on this side first. And always when you're like saddling and stuff like that, it's always good to, you know, give your horse attention and just, you know, let him know that he's being fine. You know, he's a little antsy right now because his buddy's in the back pasture, so he's all excited, but it's always good to just kind of reward them and make sure that, you know, they know that they're doing good. So here on this side, the latches, you just basically put the girth up. And you want to make sure that the girth is sitting more right here on their stomach, you know, right behind the leg. And then you just want to pull up on these latches and fasten them to a certain point of tightness, but not too tight. If you're overly tight, then it's going to affect how your horse does, and, you know, it might make him angry or whatever. And then, you know, you want it to be comfortable for them. So, you know, like this is really good. The saddle's not moving anywhere. Everything's good. And it should be fine. You know, you can always put your hands underneath the girth to make sure how much room you have. Like this is actually a little loose because when a horse sweats, it creates more movement for the saddle. So I may tighten this a little bit later on. But, and always take note, like, you know, when you're riding and stuff like that, you should always just check your girth every now and then. Because again, equipment makes mistakes just like people, and so, you know, you always got to just double check things and make sure that you're safe when you're riding. But other than that, that's pretty much how to saddle a horse. It was a little quick, and I wanted to, you know, just, most of you guys have all ridden horses, so I tried to keep it a little more quick and make sure that this was just basic. Do you guys have any questions for me?
No. What are the different types of saddles used for in different scenarios?
So an English saddle, this can be used for rail classes. So you ride in an arena. You can also use this. You can use it as a trail saddle. I personally do. You can also use it for jumping. They have jumps for horses. And they also make saddles similar to this look, where they have a longer flap here, and it's called a dressage saddle. And dressage is more hands-on contact, and, you know, you have a lot more control of the horse and stuff like that, and it's also in the arena. Western saddles can also be used in the arena for trail riding. You can use Western saddles for, you know, if you want to run your horse across the pasture, you know, whatever. And then they have Australian saddles, which are kind of like this, but they have a horn up here. Those are also mainly trail saddles. But other than that, I mean, that's about most of the well-known saddles that most people would use. Anything else? All right. Cool.